Greetings, guys. What is up? What's going on? Hey, what's up, people? We're doing a show. We're live. We're here. We're happening. We're here. Well, we're not live, but we're here. Gotta get a show out there because, well, it's been a little while. It's been a hot minute, but also we discovered a couple problems. Well, not really so much problems, but we have solutions for your problems. And no, I'm sorry. This ain't a show about Pacer like I was promising. I wanted to talk about Pacer, but we got problems. We have other problems. We have an issue. A good friend of the show, Abhi, got on here a couple days ago, and a day ago, a couple days ago, and was asking about how good old KIA was getting his aircraft to work. Apparently, Abhi was having a little bit of an issue there with his aircraft, which was just an Exile. Again, as we discussed, a phase 2, 3, 2, 3. What the hell is it? I don't remember. But you guys know. Whatever aircraft, like, okay. Chaos is a phase 2, Exile is a phase 3. Yeah, he was working with 16, all right, and TO16, again, and he was saying, like, somehow or another, his problem was based off the fact that he could not get the aircraft to keep the pockets up. I'm actually going to try to, I'm being kind of silly because I've got the, video up there, and I'm going to go about, son of a biscuit eating mother puss bucket. I know what I'm doing. What I'm doing here is, hold up. What he said was, the wing pockets are down, and he couldn't keep them keep them inside the aircraft. Okay, so what he did apparently, and this isn't exactly what you'd call like an issue. This is a common problem you can have with most of these aircraft that, like, if you're gonna fly them, and I'll even bust a couple out here because I have them handy, and including one that I have. What Abhi's problem is, good God, they need a little bit of folding here. This is unusual for these aircraft. So Abhi's problem was the fact that the wing pocket being down was coming apart. Like this one, you can tell here. See, wing pocket being down, a little. It can be more subdued so you can kind of tell. There you go. See, so the standard one, of course, the standard phases, standard exiles, standard. I mean, a lot of standard. Okay, seriously, they're usually like this. I don't know why it just worked better. I mean, we just as often think about doing it in reverse, and this one is in reverse. As you can tell, basically, it's because your keel fold. Your keel fold is on the inside like this, as it is right there. You're dealing with planes that, well, I mean, you got a lot of inside here to play with, and you got a lot of outside here to play with. So this one is full reverse because the inside fold of this particular phase right now is 2, is sitting up in here. So the fold is in and the wing pocket fold is out. I don't know why I said in. I'm sorry. This one, it's in. This is pretty much the standard. Boy, this one's really tight too because I see the folding has gotten inside of it there. But anyway, the standard one when built was always like this. I think a lot of people, when you start out with any of your flights or folding before flight, when you start out with your folding, you actually go one way and you kind of stick with it. It's a tendency. And that's why we consider it a tech when you reverse the folds and you put something like the wing pockets or any other fold outside, or anything in opposite. And these are, of course, considered the opposite. So when you're looking at this one here, with it clean on the underside and the pockets up, and in this one's case, the inside being up, a lot of things can happen with something like this. And even phases when they were originally built weren't usually like this. It was usually like folded over and folded over. These are actually folded in and then folded in. So you have something like this in the middle here. I had an idea. Sorry. Just like going with it. Bear with me. While I'm looking at these, I'm actually coming up with interesting ideas. So, Just something to go along with some of all kinds of things. But how y'all been doing anyway? I got to get this out there because it's been a little while since we had a show. Forgive me for that, but working on, hardly working hard. So, how was y'all's New Year's? How was y'all's January? Been cold? Been a little cold up here in Wisconsin. Haven't got any flights in. Haven't got much folding in either, but this one did big difference. And when Abhi brought this up, he made me think of it too, because I know this is a big problem. And we're showing this on TikTok because, of course, the planes, again, this is considered a tech. Whatever you do, if you start the plane this way, a tech is doing this. If you start the plane this way, a tech is doing this. So, because one way is standard and the other way is different. And here we go again with like something that Mark likes to talk about when the folds are different and you intend on building the folds. Is this truly a different plane? It could be. It all depends on your point of view. I chose not to see it this way. I just chose to take it in a different direction. This is a tech. It's just everything is reversed. You still get the same plane. You still do the same folds. You just happen to reverse them. I think he can agree with something like this, that in the case of when you have folds and you just take the exact same folds and flip them, you try them one way, you try them the other. Yeah, okay, it's the same aircraft. So there, in any case, this is considered a tech. It's basic, obviously. And obviously, okay, y'all might just consider it as part of the experimental fleet. I usually do myself. But point being, though, when you have these aircraft like this, it is a tech when you add something on. And even this one here is a full-on reversal tech, because you could take this. There's 4 ways to do this. You could have this pocket on the outside here and this one on the inside. You can have them both on the inside. You have them both on the outside. Or you can have this one on the outside and this one on the inside. So again, 4 options. This is just 2 ways of doing it. But anyway, I digress. Back to what Abhi's problem was. Abhi, I don't know if when you did it, and I don't know if the instructions were, I don't actually know how we perceived it when we originally do it. But most of the times when we do it, we always tape the nose together on phase products, exports. Here at SIL, I have a tendency to do that. So anybody that takes the plane, usually I require, or, it's just a prerequisite. You want to tape the nose. If you tape the nose, even when it's like this, you're going to hold most of it down. Your problem is the wing pocket just doesn't fly well when you fold it down. It's not that big a deal. Keep it up. I can't remember through the pictures if Exile, that particular mark Exile, I gotta go with this. I'm gonna bring it up here real quick in the pictures. Does Exile 16 actually, it's marked as S16 now? Well, yeah, he did do that, didn't he? Okay, just wanted to get some cover. Yeah, he did, because there it's parked, and yes, okay. I see what you're saying, Abhi. All right. So what you had said, of course, is the fact that, like, when you see S16, and in all pictures, it does have this, is a clean top, which is what you see here. Okay, wanted to make sure that was out there. All right, and you're having a problem of, like, obviously, it doesn't stay put. It deploys. Obviously, when it comes out here, these come out, right? And, like, your wing pockets. Okay, so anyway, he's used something on the bottom. We need to get with KIA, and KIA might give it a comment, but it's more than just a tape up here. He may actually have a staple. He may have a little piece of tape, and I seem to remember him doing this, but I don't know if he did this with 16 in particular, but I seem to remember a little piece of tape being right here, actually, where the wing pocket meets the body and the fuselage. This isn't as important. As a matter of fact, you can tape down the keel if you want, knowing full well that you're going to increase the weight if you do it, but you can tape down the keel. It's not all about folding with us. It's about adding tech and subtracting tech. So if you cut, if you tape, it's all on you. One of the reasons why, me personally, I've started the planes out, and I usually start them out with this, with wing pockets on the inside, because as you found out, these usually end up a lot more loose. They deploy out, and if you don't keep tension, if you don't keep stress on your wing pockets, they usually end up as speed brakes, or there's usually some poofiness to the wings, something like this here, and it comes out, and there's some stalling that can occur, especially if the airplane gets a little bit tail heavy and you kind of have the dip, and all of a sudden it goes back and there's a place to catch the wind and it drops down. Hence why I used to call the taping of the wing pocket stall proofing, because it wouldn't allow the air to come back in there, catching the pockets and pull the nose back down. If one of the problems you're having is the pocket's not staying in place, it could be sharpness of folds and creases. You may want to make sure you keep your creases tight. Like I said, I use a fingernail. You've seen KIA and you've seen NASA's. When they fold, they use devices, especially more so NASA's. Like, he likes to use some kind of device, and typically that's like the edge of his scissors. He'll end up doing something like this here, or a pen, or whatever, something hard, because he doesn't like to rub on his fingers. And I can understand that, because it can get painful, especially if you're constructing a whole bunch of aircraft. But you want to make sure your creases are tight. You just keep rubbing on the very edges of all of your folds, especially up here by the nose. Any place where you have the thickest point. So that's why, because I don't like the fact that I don't get a feel. I mean, obviously the thicker folds do hurt, but I know that, like, when I'm starting to pain, I can tell, like, okay, I'm putting a lot of pressure on here. But with this, I can't tell, and it doesn't feel as slick. So if I'm actually abrasing it, I might hurt it. I don't know. But anyway, make sure all your creases are solid. Make sure all your creases are tight, including these. You want to make sure the wing pocket's trailing edge right here. Keep lining. That's why you see me a lot of times if I'm doing the fold during the show or something like that. I'm using my finger like this here. You see that notion? That's actually me keeping the crease on. NASA's does that again. You'll see the device he'll use is like the end of something round but heavy. A marble, ball bearing, something round if you don't want to harm it, but smooth, especially if you don't want to harm it. But anything will work. A remote control will work. You know, you can just rub it on out, whatever the case may be. Again, essentially keeping those creases sharp. That's one way you can keep the wing pockets that way. Why yours may not have as luck. Okay. If you've been around this is getting a little bit deeper, but I mean, seriously, if you've been around the hobby for a long enough while, you know that, like, paper airplanes are almost like your fingerprints. No two are the same. And while we can give you instructions on how to build that particular aircraft, it's almost one of the reasons why I'm kind of, like, nervous about doing it, because sometimes I don't feel like it's going to be the same as it comes out with mine. So you might not get the same development I get. I'm very stringent about the requirements about my airplanes. If I don't get, like, if you don't see when you flip this over, you can't see the other side of the plane. NASA gets on my case about it, because every time he builds one, there'll be like a little bit of, this will be up here, and then you flip it over, and then you can see both wings. See the way that lines up like that? You see that other one down there, and he doesn't like that, but mine never do that, because I will not crease the fold until I get them perfectly symmetrical. That comes with time, and that may be an issue, sure, but, like, again, if you've been folding, if you've been around this hobby long enough, you know that that's one of the things you're trying to possibly avoid, because anytime you have asymmetricality, you're going to have probably some kind of asymmetric flight that's going to piss you off. Something like this, like you said, it's making you upset. Yes, KI might have built the Golden BB. He might have built the one that actually just does work. This isn't to say the one that I built works either, because I don't like these as much. I've stuck with the versions of Phase for so long with the wing pockets on the top because, well, they freaking worked. I have built them with the wing pockets now. There's no difference in his version versus my version. It's not like he built Exile, which is a Phase 3. He did not build it in any different way, in any tech. We both acknowledged it's something that I had not, like, it's nothing that I had not tried before. His just worked better. He got it to work better. He got the folds right. It's all minute things that are so hard to keep track of, because there's so much minute tech that you really don't think about that's actually present in each plane that you build. Like checking your weights, like checking where your center of gravity is. And that is so, so important. Like the tweezers, you see us do that every once in a while. We'll use the scissors, but we have tweezers on hand, which I always recommend during the show, during your folds. Each time you do this, always have a set of tweezers on hand, because it's always nice to actually take said plane and grab it somewhere and figure out, like, where your balance is, where your center of gravity is, because that's going to make a load of difference as to what kind of flight you're looking for. There's more of a technicality on it than it seems to be when you think about it. It has to do with like how much wing area fights the weight that you're creating in the nose with all the folds. And of course, you can back off the weight versus the wing area by reducing some of the weight in the nose, cutting some of the paper out, cutting the nose off, cutting the nose down. And believe me when I say, when you have a plane, like phases are just perfectly well balanced. It's one of the reasons why they've always flown so well. The center of gravity is just the right spot, that there's enough weight in front of it, there's enough wing area behind it to counteract it. This is one of the reasons why they have long flights. Anytime you have any glider with a long flight, that is why. All of the area behind the center of gravity, there's enough square foot of wing to counterbalance the weight of the nose, so it goes, because you need some weight in the nose to get out there, but you have enough wing area to glide for a long time. And it's why you could experiment with any plane, from one you've already built to a series of planes that you could build. And this is one of the reasons why I got numbers of phases up so much, is you could take this plane, which is this is a chaos, but a phase 2, a chaos, and just like this one starts out at a certain length, and then you just literally cut a centimeter off, or a millimeter off, if you will, each one. Like 1 times, 2 times, 3, just cut down the nose. And seriously, you will find a difference in each and every one of those planes, even if you have 8 cuts in a small span like this. Even if it's like 5 centimeters, but you cut like 12 times, 12 different planes, make 12 different planes. I wouldn't recommend doing it with one. I would recommend doing it with 12 planes and making a different cut at a different location. For those of us in stupid American land that only like 3 people in the entire globe use, you do 1/4 inch or 1/8 of an inch. But if you do the little cut off your nose, you're going to notice a difference, because the weight's going to come off. But more importantly, the length of your plane is going to come down. And it will change the center of gravity doubly, because you're getting rid of weight and you're shifting it back because you're losing the weight in the nose. There's a sweet spot. Abhi, this is affecting you as well. There's a sweet spot. You have to find the sweet spot. That's the biggest trick in the whole damn thing. If you add tape anywhere, if you put tape back here to hold these wing pockets down, if you put tape here to hold these wing pockets down, you're shifting the weight balance. Over here, when you're in the center of gravity, not so much. But it's a little bit forward, especially on phases, because phases, it's usually right back behind that wing pocket. That's what makes it so great. It's like right there. Chaos and Exile are no different. Any phase export, it's the same thing. And that is why you want to watch it, but you want to experiment. You do want to make the cuts. You do want to make the folds, because you want to find out where your sweet spot is. So I would recommend, don't just build that one and expect that one to be primo. This is why, NASA's got a hold of it. I've definitely done it for a long time. You want to build an experimental fleet. You don't want to build just one. You want to build multiples, because you want to figure out which one. What the hell is that? You want to figure... Jesus. Cat? You want to figure out which one is the sweet spot, and that's the one you want to build. If this one's having problems because it's too long, and I mean like this one right here, if this one's having problems because it's too long, if this one's having problems because it's too heavy, okay, cut it down. That don't work, cut it down again. What if that works? You could always play with that cut even and like alter it a little bit. Just like, okay, what if I add a little bit back? What if I subtract a little bit back? This is why I highly recommend you build an experimental fleet with new planes or old planes. You want to get it right. It's important. You'll never know. So it's not just, don't look at it as just your wing pocket problem. I know. Okay, I understand. It probably is. But keep in mind, again, like his plane works because he found the sweet spot. I'm trying to stress that. He found the best balance. It's not because of tech that's on it. It isn't because he did this. It isn't because he's got that little tail on it. Don't get me wrong, all of these help. But he started with the good base. That plane was good the way it was when he had it like this. Before he got little tail in there, little triangles in the back, this plane was good. Then he did that. Then it just works. So don't get frustrated just because one doesn't work like that. build 10 more. You know, like just work with it, and like don't put the cool ass tech that he's got until you know it flies good, till you know you got it down. Anyway, I digress. That's still getting off target. That doesn't get on your wing pocket problems. Okay, the wing pocket problems. All right. Well, it kind of does. I shouldn't say it. It kind of does because, again, he found the sweet spot. It's arguable that he couldn't get that exact same flight, that exact same plane, if he folded the wing pockets up. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure he couldn't have done that. But again, whatever he found, however he folded, he made that one work. Symmetry is important. Very important. Getting your fold sharp, tight, getting your tape just so. But that weight, that center of gravity, all that stuff that we're talking about, that is also just as, if not as important. So you got to watch out for like more, well, that's still symmetry across the board. Getting your weights even, getting your cuts even, stuff like that, getting your folds even. So really it boils down to that symmetry. And again, that's like finding the Cinderella spot. You know, it's like, it's perfect. It's not too much. It's not too little. It's just right. That's Goldilocks. My bad. Why do I keep saying Cinderella? I've done that before. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Anyway, so yeah, that's the Goldilocks zone. And yes, you're getting it right there. He found it with that one. I mean, it's one of the reasons why I have 700 phases. Because not every 700, like, don't go, everybody out there, don't go thinking 700 phases got built because 700 of them worked. Trust me when I say, probably about, okay, they're better than average, but probably about 300 of them failed. I mean, because I tried tech on a lot of them. Probably about 300 of them failed. I'm not going to lie. I mean, there's something, like, there's a lot of them, like, and there's one of the reasons why some particular planes win, like, my award, my trophy for the best flight of the half a year, you know, and we give them out per half a year because I expect y'all to be flying most of the damn time. Could go to annually, but whatever. The point is, like, only few planes make that list because only few planes find the sweet spot. I don't have like 200 through 500. We're just, you know, from 201, 3, 4, 5, 9, 10, you know, all of them didn't fly. 172, prime example. And that's one of the reasons why I can rattle off the numbers like 212, 67, 148, 142, 497. Actually, most of the 490s, but this is why, like, I know these planes, 363, these planes, 168. I'm sorry, but like, I know my phases enough to know the numbers, and this is why I keep saying number your freaking planes, boys. Especially if you build more than one, you need to number them. But this is why, you know, like, he knows, KIA knows, number 16, Exile 1 through 15 probably sucked ass, or maybe they didn't, but 16 freaking rocked. And that's why you guys know 16. Abhi, this is why you say 16 in the comments, because number 16 was the best at the time. It might still be, but you're always going to remember that. You're always going to remember your stars because they are the ones in the Goldilocks zone. So again, don't get flustered. You can't just be, you can't make number 16 without making 16 of your own. You know what I'm saying? We're telling you how he built that exact one, but you might have to build 5 different examples of it to get it just right. So, and obviously it hasn't worked for you because, again, when it comes down, the wing pocket pops out. Just tape it a little bit. I'll get with KIA, and we'll get with KIA, and we'll make sure. I'm sorry he's not on the show, but we've talked about getting him on the show, so we'll be on the show here. I'm sorry about, like, I'm being solo, but we'll get more people on here, and we'll explain exactly why, you know, like what he did. I'm an idiot. I don't remember exactly. I don't even see it in the... Did I close that shit up? I'm an idiot. I don't see it in the pics, so I can't exactly tell you where, because I don't have a close-up of any of the shots to show you where he might have taped. But he could tell you, he could show you and stuff like that, and like get... Because a lot of the ones I've got are 16 are in flight, and some of them aren't interstellar either, so I don't have any posed shots. Okay, if you're listening to this, get us a pose shot of 16 from the underside so we can all see. I can't even remember, is there a hole in it? There might even be, is there a hole in it? Obviously you got the fins in the back. No, there's no hole on it. Okay. There's definitely tape in the nose. I can see it. I have enough of a pose shot here. I got a semi-pose shot. It's just not of underneath. It's enough of the shot, obviously, that you know that the wing pocket was folded on the underside. Like Abhi, you're talking about, you got the problem. I'm just trying to see if I got. We'll see if we can get K to like talk about 16 and then talk about or show us a picture of the shots so you can tell exactly. Looks pretty clean, so I don't think it's anything in particular. Damn. Got a lot of shots of his. I'm just trying to see because I got quite a few shots of Exiles. Wait. No, okay. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, no, I don't have any, so I don't have any pose shots, so I can't tell. But I don't think it's staples. He hasn't stapled much either. It's got to be tape, and there's definitely tape in the nose. One of the things that'll help out. Okay, now, kind of important. When you do tape the nose, don't tape it at this point. If you make the folds and you get it to this stage, don't tape now. Fold your wings in, because I know where your problem lies. I know where your problem comes. This is where my problem comes. Because this stage, when you fold the fuselage and you know it's about to become the plane, this is obviously when you can code it. I've got codes on these because these are planes, even though they're unfolded. This is what I've taken these bodies out of Pry Fly. They're about to have the wings because they're easier to store like this than they are when they have wings. Anyway, this is where all your stress happens. So if you have the wing pocket on top, obviously it's going to form the proper stress on a normal plane because you're about to fold over and it's about to just tighten on up because it's going to fold that, it's going to create that crease, it's going to fold on, it's going to be tight. It's going to do the exact opposite with this, of course, because you're going to poof it. Now, that kicker is tape it now. You need another example of one of the planes to actually get it right. This is the tricky part of this. Obviously, you've built an Exile, so you know how high you need to make the fuselage, how narrow or whatever you want to make that fuselage, like right there, right? So if you've got another example, you park it next to this one, and I'm sure like Kay's probably got a little bit of a idea of how much it does. I think it's like 3 millimeters. I don't even know. I know it's small. Okay, it isn't much. Like it would only be like up to here. Like see where my fingers are, like where that thumbnail is. That's about where it'd be. Like here, like I can put here. You shouldn't make a high fuselage. You shouldn't make a slanted fuselage. You shouldn't make a narrow fuselage. You should be enough to get your fingers in there. And I mean like comfortably. You don't want to make it too narrow because you have to have a lot of wing. And again, that fold is a part of the sweet spot, believe it or not. That's why these things are so damn delicate. Because any more that you give it reduces the wing area, you're going to get a different plane. If you increase the wing area, you're going to get a different plane. Some say worse, some say better. It's up to you. And this is one of the reasons why you have to have a test fleet. But anyway, so this is about the line. What do you call that? 2 centimeters? 5 millimeters? I'm not up with my meters, but I'm trying to give it to you because I keep remembering that I'm talking in inches, and that's only for stupid Americans because we're like the only idiots on the entire globe that go with inches and feet, and it's all stupid, but it's really small, okay? If you can see, wait, can you see? Hold on. Let me switch this lighting up a minute. So you can see, like, this is an American board, so it says in inches, but if you can see, like, I've got it on that line there, but you see that the scissors right there are on, like, the next line up. So, you know what I mean? Like, that's a 1/2 inch for Americans. So that's only a 1/2 inch. What's a 1/2 inch in freaking... Here, I'm sorry. Let me get this for you. Like, okay. 12. Oh my God, I was saying 5 millimeters. See, I don't even freaking know. Okay, so that's basically 12.5 millimeters. Okay, or in centimeters, it is 1.27. All right, so it's 1.25 centimeters. God bless you guys. I gotta figure this out better. But anyway, so it's about 1.25 centimeters. It's about 12 millimeters. Man, y'all's millimeters are small, but I got to get that right. So anyway, that's what you're looking at, and it's all the way down. Try to make that as straight as possible. I mean, if you kick it up to the back, if there's a little bit of a slant It's okay. That's another tech. And it does work, but most of these planes don't like that. Our gliders seem to like it. Most gliders you'll find actually really do like it better if it's straight. Because as anybody in all its folded planes know, the more angle you put on it, the more dart-like they start to get. Because again, you're reducing wing area. And their sweet spot means you don't angle them. It actually worked really well. I don't know if anybody else has tried it. When you angle it the other way. I've tried a lot of them down facing to back here where it's really only like, no joke, 3 millimeters is as the height at the rudder. Seriously, about that long. It's very low, and they work pretty good. But they don't like it the other way. It just turns into more of a dart. So you don't want to go with that. But anyway, so getting back to that, sorry, a little bit of a segue, but like we were talking, that plane, like those there, you don't want, you tape it to where you're going to be like right there, your 12 millimeters, tape it right there, and then make the fold to the tape. If you tape like, you could foreseeably tape like all the way up to here, but first of all, you're adding too much weight. Second of all, you can cut it. You can cut it because again, the important part is you only want to make the fuselage about 12 millimeters, all the way down. Okay, so half inch, 1.1 centimeters, all the way down. Okay, yeah, you add the tape, but of course, if you add too much tape, you can cut nose. But understand, once you start playing with that, once you start adding too much tape, once you start adding or subtracting too much nose by cutting it, you're messing with the sweet spot and you're going to get a different plane. It's amazing how, but I mean, when you're talking literally with something that weighs less than grams, you need to make sure you find that sweet spot, and it will take you more than one plane. It's not as easy as telling you guys to build a Goblin, a Banshee, a Vampire, a Apex, a Javelin, a Thunderbolt, because those planes aren't as affected by wing area and weight. They're going to do their job no matter what. A stunt plane or an interceptor or a straight-on plane like we like to build, they're not going to be affected by this as a glider would. A glider needs your sweet spot. And this is why you've got to build more than one. We can give you the instructions, but you need to build more than one. You need to get it right where you need it. I mean, like I said, he built at least 16 to come to that one. If you ask him, I bet he'll tell you the 15 before it sucked. So I built 700 of them because 500 of them sucked. I mean, there's a reason why. It isn't like, yeah, I built them because every single one of them worked. Well, a lot of them did, but a lot of them didn't. Anyway, still, I'm sorry, I'm kind of rambling, but the point of the matter is you got that. Really, it boils down to that, damn, like you want to find the perfect plane. You just happen to want it, 16 is the perfect plane. So anyway, okay, so you're talking about the wing pockets. Let's get back on the wing pockets. So if you tape this before you fold, which is crucial, you'll have less of a wing pocket problem. The other thing is, again, making sure those creases are tight. When you fold, this is really important, okay? When you get it to this point and you're about to make the fold, I got to flip this light back on so you can see that. Yeah, because I got to cast the shadow. All right, so before you make the fold, this is tricky. You can't just fold it willy-nilly. You have to hold it. I'm going to fold this one. I'll show you, okay? Like, because this one is wing pocket down, like you're worried about. This one, the paper is down, the wing pocket is down. I'd say cut it off, but that would destroy the weight. Your sweet spot would be gone. You're not going to get the same plane. So I haven't taped this, but I know I've got control. I've built these before. You got to hold it in place, especially at the wing pocket, right? So put pressure here, and then play with your fold. Keep holding it. Like one finger at least, but as many fingers as you can. Keep holding it. Make sure you hold that wing pocket down. And what I'm trying to do is, because again, you need it straight. You need to make sure that line's straight. The rudder back here, you can find a rudder. You make sure your trailing edge of the wing, this is why I don't cut it until actually I get the fold down, is following the rudder because you need it as straight as possible. So, and yes, of course, it's going to be a bitch. One of the things again, we'll talk to KIA and find out, but he might tape it right here to actually prevent that. One thing I end up started doing, seriously, that you can do, this is the cheater way of doing it. You can staple it and put that staple in place. Now it won't move. And you can remove it so you're not losing anything. If you add little bitty staple holes that go through the body at the fuselage level, you're not going to change the plane's dynamics in such a way that you need to worry about how it flies. So you can staple it to hold it in place and then remove the staple. But that's important. Remove the staple. So I'm going to do that also because I just showing the illustration. But anyway, so you got it. You're folding. It's going to floof. You got to understand that because you're going with that grain. You're going against everything else you've done. So it's going to what we call poof or floof. NASA hates that crap. It happens. You go with it. And the other thing you do, or at least that I do, to cut, me, that's going to be high. Anyway, one thing you do also is after you get the wing crease in, okay, like I told you, use your fingernail, use something to get the crease. Like I'm making sure this crease is pretty solid. This is important too. You don't want your wing pocket to floof. So Abhi, follow me on this one. Take your fingers here because your wing pocket is now underneath right here. And make sure you go from the base right here and just try to crease out all the way to the tip. Follow it all the way to the tip along the leading edge. And approximately, you should be able to feel where your wing pocket is. Follow your wing pocket and go all the way to the tip. Make sure it's like seriously, drag your fingernails, drag your device, just like take it on out there. I don't have to do that because I know I've done that. All right, so that way when you get your fold out, you get your fold back out. See this? God damn it, don't do that. Stop. See it? See? There's a little bit of a poof there because that's almost unavoidable. I haven't put the winglets in yet, but it's crisp. It's straight. I know I haven't folded the other wing yet, but I would just wanted to illustrate that. See how tight that is? That's from folding. That's the creasing. That's what you're trying to get here. So put that down. Fold this other wing. This is almost more important than the first wing because you got to make sure the secondary wing follows it. I like to drag this along with the finger and make sure your wingtips meet because that is more important than the body. And then here near the nose, you see what I'm doing here with my thumbnail? Trying to make the crease in the right spot to make sure that, again, the wings are identical to each other. It's tough at the thickest parts of the fold, but you're going to get it. Taking out some of the folds, you're going to form some creases there, some skin wrinkling. That's unavoidable. You got it there, get it there. Then, of course, once you're done with it, you end up with like a solid thing that wants to stay down because you've creased it. It gives it this little bell shape there. Unfold it again and give it a little bit, like just take your finger like this here. And usually you play with this a little bit, you know, until, bam, you get it out. Everything's tight. Wing pockets, there's a little bit of a poof. This is the other thing you can do once you get it. God damn, I built a high fuselage anyway. But one thing you can do also when you get to this stage, take your fingernails again and run the wing pocket all the way out. As hard as you can, run it out to the wingtips. That'll take as much floof, as much of the wing, that pocket blowing up, it'll take it out. All right, now we got it to this stage. Take the staple back out. Because again, not part of the aircraft that I'm trying to do. Okay, see, now, staple's gone. It's in the dragon teeth right here. See, there's a staple. Staple is gone. But you'll notice the wing has stayed. The wing pockets have stayed. And yeah, they'll poof out, but like, I mean, don't think like the fold is what's keeping it in place. And I know this one's not done here either, but there you go. You see, like, okay. I'm going to form an Exile. I'm going to form a phase 3 for you. Okay, you got the fold there. Probably should have taken it out before this. This is trickier with the wing pockets below. This is one of the reasons why I personally don't like putting the wing pockets on the bottom, because it is so hard to get that right. And Abhi, I agree with you. That's why I like Exiles. Pain in the ass. It really is. I don't like these for this reason. Because now you got, if you want this to be right, You got to do so much sweet spot folding to make sure this thing, NASA's, I know you know what we're talking about too. You got to keep your thumbnail in there to keep that crease. Make sure you don't have such poofiness. Because again, see, now the wing pocket's trying to come back out. I feel your pain. This is one of the reasons why I don't build it like this. See, I try to form the crease. You come out with your fingernail. You take wing pocket from the keel, from your bottom, all the way to the tip. Try to kick it out, and then hold it, and then start your fold, because you're trying to keep the stress into the wing pocket, because it's stupid hard to do. The only other way I can think of to do it, and you can do it, and KIA didn't do it with that Exile, but you can, is to glue it down. You can glue the wing pocket down. That's why I always say keep a glue stick on hand, because it is also a version. It's a little bit, it doesn't add as much weight, depends on how much glue you use, but okay, so you got that there. And like I said, I'm going to form this into a Exile / phase 3. So what we're going to do is give it a cut here. That's the slanted trailing edge, which made it go from a 2 to a 3. And because I'm feeling spur, yeah, I like to cut the rudder, because phases also seem to like that. Exile, I don't know if he's tried it so much. Yeah, he has. He has. But phases like that. So again, like keeping that out, you want to hold it down. Keep it like that there. Same thing on the other side. And again, if we talk to Exile, or God, why do I keep saying that now? If you talk to K, we'll get him on and we'll talk about it. We'll see. Like, I'm pretty sure it's not just the fold. Something is holding it down. There's almost no way it isn't. Almost no way. And there you go. You have another ridiculously high fuselage phase. I've like changed my dynamic, but it is a phase 3. It is an Exile. There's a lot less wing. But yeah, you see, like, it's pretty tight. Pretty tight right there. Pretty much against it. This one is poofing a little bit, but not enough to be worried about. Again, symmetry matters. So one of the things you might want to do is, if you do have one and you can't get rid of that, you may want to like do something like that. Stick your finger under there, stick something under there to increase. Make sure they kind of match, because symmetry matters. See, now they're both just a little bit out. But you'll see, like, even, I don't have any tape, I don't have any staple on it, but you see it's pretty tight against the body here, pretty tight against the body here in both places. It's not poofing. One other trick, Abhi, one other problem you may be having. One thing about them also is, if it's humid, if there's a lot of humidity in the air, if it's paper, it's going to come out. And anything like that, especially this, if it's singled, it will be exaggerated. So you have to keep that in mind where and when you fly. One of the reasons why we hate flying in humid air, I mean, you got to do it, or else you can't just be like, it's humid, I can't fly. Bullshit. Just get out there and fly, or else you'll never get out there and fly. But that being said, humidity will play a factor in it. And if you have something like this, if the humidity gets into there, they're going to exaggerate. It'll be like more curves. The paper will not look as crisp, and you won't get the kind of flight you're looking for out of it. That's also a killer. So something else to keep in mind. Yeah. I've showed you all I can. Ultimately, what kind of paper he used? He used basic paper. Basic A4. You know what started off the sheet, and it's basic, like, copy paper or notebook. You can use notebook paper. I'm sure he used like worksheet / copy paper, normal paper that paperwork comes on. It's nothing special about it. But the other key, the folds are key. Symmetry is key. Humidity is way more key, but it's that sweet spot. Like I said, it's the fact that you wanted that particular number, and that particular number worked beautifully. So, yeah, don't get down about it. Just build a bigger fleet. Build yourself 16 of them, and then you'll understand, like, okay, I mean, dude, seriously, if you build 5, 10, 15, 300 of them, all of them are probably going to fly different. It ain't no joke. You're never going to, I mean, like, come on, man. If you built any more than 5 planes, you know that's what happens. So that's what happened for him. And that's where we're at. So we had this talk. That's why we had this talk. This talk was basically on getting the folds right. I mean, it's basic folding. It's a little bit of the tech. The tech is folding. The tech is the wing pockets. It's all, like just pay attention to how you do it. Once you get to this level, you're concentrating more on just simply getting over the 15-second plane or the 10-second plane. Like I want something more. And Abhi, it's good to see that you're at that level. But that's why, like you're finding the little technicalities, every little thing, every little tweak, every little nuance changes your aircraft. And this is why we as being core members, being in the core and having so many planes, this is why we know, because we built so many of these and we're like, this one doesn't work, scrap it, this one doesn't work, target it, this one works, oh crap, keep it, So not every plane is a winner. But yeah, that's kind of like your homework assignment. Build more, keep on your symmetry, get it right. This one sucks. I can already tell it sucks. It'll fly okay, but it won't fly as good because I built, that's too big a wing. Like I can see like my whole thumbnail is on the fuselage. That's bigger than I like to make it look because there's a little less wing than there usually is. I don't have another one in front of me that I can actually compare that to, but the whole point is you see a typical phase. It's usually like a lot more wing, a lot less anhedral, a lot less. I hate these. It's one of the reasons why I kind of get frustrated with them because I know I'm doing this and I'm like, what the hell am I doing wrong? So, yeah. Keep your creases tight. It's most important. Don't think it's just folding. If you got a way to tuck it in somewhere, sure, but don't be scared to use tape. Don't be scared to use a staple. Don't be scared to use glue. A lot of cases, that's usually what we use to hold it down. Watch your weather. Watch your folds. Keep the symmetry up though, and you're bound to find it just right. So just keep working at it. And it's not like I said, it's not something you can just get. Trust me, this is one of the reasons, dude, ask NASA's, ask all of them. This is one of the reasons why everybody gets frustrated after a while. It's like, no plane I build works, this sucks. Well, that's why. That's why I've got like a fleet of 3,000. Not all of them are winners. You got to go through the losers to get to the winners. So, they'll know. But hey, like I said, so just keep working it, keep folding, and you'll learn it, and like watch your weather. But then also